I'm here at my farm today to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's our Agricultural Preservation Trust Fund and the efforts that we're making to protect valuable farmland across North Carolina. The division consists of 13 full-time and part-time employees based in Raleigh primarily, but we have regional representatives all over the state. The issue of farmland preservation is vital to our number one industry in North Carolina, which is agriculture. Without valuable farmland and productive farmland, we can't grow the crops that we need to grow to feed not only North Carolina and the nation, but also the world. So protecting the farmland is something that we are really focused on. This started when I came into office in 2005. By an act of the General Assembly, we changed the farmland preservation law and created the Farmland Preservation Trust Fund. Since that time, we have protected almost 20,000 acres, primarily with conservation easements, but there are also many other programs that we have in the Farmland Preservation Trust Fund, such as working with the military through our Sentinel Landscapes designation to protect military bases across North Carolina. The mission of protecting our military bases and farmland preservation go hand in hand, and we must protect the bases to be able to train our soldiers to keep us free. So it's a wonderful partnership we have and one that we're proud of. I think the question would be, why do we need farmland preservation? And I'll give you a statistic. Between 2001 and 2016, North Carolina lost 6.7% of its farmland. This was second in the nation during this period of time, and I think if you look around North Carolina, you understand all the development that has gone on, particularly in our farms and our forests. National statistics show that a farm makes money for local governments, state governments. It carries its own load because we don't need a lot of infrastructure. But once you develop a farm, the cost of the infrastructure and just say the schools, the fire departments, the shopping centers, water and sewer, all of that adds up very quickly, and it actually costs about $1.50 per $1 of taxes that are taken in when you do development versus a farm. So we are in North Carolina a leader nationally in all kinds of agricultural commodities and crops, so we want to stay that way. When I was first elected to office in 2004, I was farming 11 farms here in this area, including my home farm here. Today, there are 5 of those farms that have been developed and covered up with houses, and a 6th is slated for development very quickly. So over half of the farms that I farmed in 2004 have disappeared, and it's sad. But it's also something that we have to stem if we're going to continue to be the agricultural state that we've always been. Agriculture and agribusiness in North Carolina not only is important to the farmers of this state, but if you look at the agribusiness aggregate that supports agriculture, when you start talking about $92.7 billion of economic impact, there's something we need to pay attention to and make sure that we do have the farmland available for people to farm. Another issue that has gone hand in hand with preserving farmland in North Carolina is actually preserving farmers in North Carolina. After the disasters that we suffered with Hurricane Matthew, particularly Hurricane Florence, and then Tropical Storm Michael, Dorian, every time that we've had these disasters, the Farmland Preservation Trust Fund has been there to assist farmers to get back on their feet. In the case of Hurricane Florence and Tropical Storm Michael, we were able to administer a $240 million disaster aid package to farmers in North Carolina, and this was handled by our Farmland Preservation Trust Fund staff and another 160 people that work for the Department of Agriculture. I really believe without this that we would have lost a large number of our farmers in North Carolina. And the road remains tough for farmers in this state, but we're going to be there to help at every turn. The one thing that I wanted to tell you is that my wife and I and my two sons, we have a deep love and appreciation for this farm. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into the making of this farm and to raising a family here, and we all are in agreement that we never want to see this farm develop. So when I retire from being Commissioner of Agriculture, I'm going to try my best to put this farm in a conservation easement, just like we've done other farms through the Farmland Preservation Trust Fund, and hopefully this will forever be a farm and it will remain productive into the future, and another generation of farmers will be able to make a living here. The applications for the grants that we are able to do in the Farmland Preservation Trust Fund far outnumber the amount of money that we have been allocated by the legislature, and we're continuing to work to get more money put into this trust fund. When we get state money, we're able to leverage federal money and have partners to step in to actually multiply the effects of the money that the legislature does appropriate to us. So we're going to continue to work hard and continue to make sure that North Carolina remains green and growing and agriculture remains its #1 industry.